And I might even say buy it and still sell it. Neglecting the fact that the rat do not that body no, is that the rat pee. Because the rat pee is where the spirit
I raise a point of order to the member from St. Thomas. You're on a very good part, but I'm just asking it to put a little gas in it. We have more stuff on the agenda, and we don't want to miss out anything else.
Well, perhaps if you allow the question that could answer the questions, and then that would cut down on time. But let us just see. We have to be, let me just wrap up this part, especially where leptospirosis is concerned. Leptospirosis, or the spirochaeta, does not. It likes stagnant water and things. So if we see stagnant water and things, the water not flowing away, left that alone, but I'm going like. Because a stagnant body of water is a recipe for the growth of multiple type of bacteria and all sort of other germs. If we could just get that water to run away, because once we get the water to run away, we also reduce the risk of mosquito being born and mosquito being bred in that water. Also, rat peeping at the water and then they start getting leptospirosis breaking out. So we have to be very careful. I would say to anybody in these conditions, if you have your food, even your food storage, Daniel, if you leave it in a fridge these days, you have to be very careful how you leave your food overnight. Because rice can develop a lot of bacteria and toxins can come out. And by the time you eat the food the next day, the food start get slimy and spoil, and you get a whole heap of things from it. You get food poisoning. And we have seen food poisoning unalive people before because they have persistent diarrhea so much that they become dehydrated and then become hypovolemic and go into shock and have end organ damage. Your kidney stop work, your liver stop work, and you're unalive. And no, with a broken health system, we have to do what is best for us, that we don't have to put extra burden on the healthcare system. Sometimes bathing might be a challenge because we might have the best water source to bathe. But if you have to find ingenious ways to keep your hygiene so you don't smell good, you have to use it. Because in a sense, you go bathe in a certain water bodies and end up having ringworm and all sort of skin illnesses, skin disease, and you don't have anywhere to go and get it treated. And sometimes you might get a cut on your body during these things, and you go into these very same water bodies, and there are certain bacteria which are soft tissue consuming bacteria. And once it goes into these cuts, it starts to eat away the flesh, and you might have to lose a limb. End up with what they call gas gangrene. So we have to be very careful how we deal with the waters.
Okay, member, thank you very much for that contribution. Now we will move to questions and answers in short order. Chop City, you can go ahead with your question. Okay, see that member is not ready as yet, but Mr. Lewis, you can go ahead with your question.
While I try to get my thoughts together, go down to Eagle.
That does sound good in the call.
No man. Me deal with something and I try to get something in life.
Member, can you please observe the protocol, member?
No, I was just saying, whatever stress Carl have to deal with, he has 4 boys that went to Kingston.
Member, Member, member,
We don't have time to deal with that, member.
All
member.
right.
We move right along. Eagle, Mr. Eagle, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. My well-learned friend from Eastern St. Thomas. Well put together. But how is it that we are going to tell a person that has no facility, no proper water supply, you see, not to use the water that is to their ledger? Can we educate them more in how? I know you had indicated that to use drops of chlorine and boil the water to a certain temperature, but can you elaborate some more on other method of persons to treat the water? Because say for instance they don't have the facility of a stove.
Well, you see, Eagle, if, and this is just the harsh reality, we are in a disaster. For example, in Westmoreland, nobody from Westmoreland can tell me that they can't make a fire because of the amount of board houses down there that have blown down. So that is not an
But
option. You
we're
have
speaking,
to do
but
what is
member,
necessary.
point of order. But remember, we're speaking about across the 14 parishes of Jamaica,
No,
which everybody has been.
but the disaster zone, member, in all honesty, is not the
Yeah,
major impact zone. Is not all across the country.
yeah, but it is given in a protocol that all the water supply has been contaminated across the country.
All right. So if all the water supplies are contaminated across the country, the thing is that people have chlorine. There's availability of chlorine tablets, and I think that part of the relief efforts given by us or by people should involve the distribution of chlorine tablets. It just has to be a part of a natural thing. So if you can boil the water, you can drop chlorine tablets in the water. But before that, because I said it's still Eagle, and you will notice, I used to live in a place where the method that they use to purify their water, I was not comfortable with it because they use certain metal, heavy metal, and what they call alkalosis, where the things bond onto the metal and purify the water. I never like it because at Jamaican I could drink water from my fridge. So you know how I purified my water? I used filter and then I put chlorine tablets in it. But these people will not have filters, but everybody have one shirt or one panty, just saying, everybody have a piece of cloth where they can wash cleanly and everything and use it to sieve to sieve the water or to filter the water, a clean piece of cloth. And then they can put the chlorine tablet in it. And by doing that, you remove the heavy metal, the heavy particles, and then the chlorine will take care of the microbes.
Okay,
If you
member.
can't boil the water, that's okay. But I would advise boil up the water because the combination of boil and chlorination will get rid of 99.99% of all the microbes that is possible here.
Okay, member. Thank you very much for that
All
response.
right, can you?
And
You
when I
can
was in the
go ahead,
cholera
member
zone,
from
let me just finish, Eagle. Yeah.
Kingston.
When I was in the cholera zone, and you know I lived in a cholera zone, I worked in cholera for 4 months, constantly. And these are methods that we had to utilize.
All right,
Okay, we have a question from the member
question.
from Saint Kingston,
Yeah,
West Kingston.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
evening. And as usual, you know, I'm not going to stay long with you, especially at night. I don't really stay up late. Question. Usually when a hurricane or even heavy rain, the water commission always lock off the water for days. They are saying that most of the time them say them a purify the water. are you telling us that we should take extra precaution by boiling the water, or once the water commission finish what they are doing by purifying the water, it's okay or it is not okay?
I would tell you, Carl, from my humble standpoint, and from especially in these disaster zone, where the water, a lot of these places utilize a significant amount of river water. Because I don't know, Trelawney, Yuda, Woolip, Westmoreland, and the places. I would say to those people in those areas, you have to go the hard way. When I'm in Jamaica, Carl, in all honesty, I don't drink pipe water,
Member, in the essence of time, I would
I would
advise
say
you to
yes, Carl.
keep
I would say yes. My
your
simple answer is
answers
yes, Carl.
more concise
All right.
so
I
that
would
we
say the
can
simple answer
go
is
to the
yes,
other
Carl.
members. Thank
The
you very
simple
much,
answer is yes,
member.
especially in the disaster zones. Because you know, sir, only for we call it again, the reservoirs. They have inlet. And these inlets have been swamped with silts and all of them things that coming in.
Okay, so we move to the member from St. Catherine.
Question. Yes. Thank you. Are you suggesting that the water that comes through the sea pipe during this time is not good for consumption?
Ingram, I do not want you to lead a question for me to answer along that line. Why? I have not tested NWC water sources to see the level of fecal coliform or contaminants in those waters. But what I can reassure you is that in the areas of the disaster, I am sure, especially in places like South Trelawney, where river water is the order of the day, and in St. Elizabeth right now, where we have a lot of broken mains and contaminated sources, where NWC might even lock off the water lines, right? Treating the water by boiling it and putting a chlorine tablet would do well to you.
Thank you very much, member. Member from Trelawney. Mr. Blair, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, member, and let me just thank the presenter for an exclusive presentation re waterborne illness and preventative measures. And just to answer the member from Kingston, that the presentation is geared towards persons affected mostly in the disaster areas where they are not having National Water Commission water, but rather they are dependent on rivers and stream. And that is why we suggest that the waters being boiled and a bit of bleach add to it. But my substantive question now would be, what role is the Office of Disaster Preparedness playing in this regard to sensitize the residents as the implication for using those type of water?
Well, the role that ODPEM should be in this situation, and as I've said before, should be an education driven, sensitization driven role. Because they are the ones who have to let people know implications of their actions. So education and sensitization on the ground.
On a point of order.
Let me finish. When I was in the cholera zone, we had to go in from house to house.
Remember, desist from using the terms. They still continuously trying to put a term in. Desist from using that term.
All right.
I remember For a point of order, is the sensitization should be coming from the Ministry of Health, because that's a health-related issue.
No, but ODPEM is a, remember, you know, we are in the middle of a disaster. ODPEM has the ability to coalesce or to be doing a conjunctive effort with any of the ministries in order to mitigate a disaster. So if you're going to have an outbreak, a further proliferation of these waterborne illnesses, it is at risk, and therefore it should be a job carried out by the disaster mitigating agency and also the Ministry of Health. Both of them can combine and do the job. I'm going to give you an example. When I was in my zone working, we would go from house to house, literature distribution, talking to people who we have, even if they're not have symptoms, educating them, right? Picking up people and also capturing people who might just have got show symptoms. We have to do that on a day-to-day basis. Oh, Carl. Oh, you know, so I had 2 diarrheas last night. All right, Carl. Testing temperature. Oh, Carl, you have a fever? Guess what, Carl? We're going to have to bring you here and see what go on with him. We watch Carl. And even if we know we're not bringing him there, we have him. We have him on our radar. We know, so guess what? Tomorrow morning, we are going to Carlos. And we are going to go through the questionnaire with Carl. Oh, it's just a simple diarrhea, man. That is okay. Carl can stay. Grow on this up. And we have to be doing this right through the zone. I'm going to tell you something, brother. We were dealing with over 2 million people in that city. Because
Okay, thank you.
every member, every person who might develop a symptom which is not caught or captured early poses a risk to the greater population.
Thank you very much, member. And I just want to take this opportunity to appeal to the relevant authorities while we're aiding assistance to the residents that were affected. We use the opportunity to also, if it's even in the form of a brochure, to educate the people in the affected area of the proper procedures to follow in consuming whatever is around them. The storage process or storage procedures, whatever it is there is, to continue with the protection of our citizens, so as
Eagle,
to not lead to any of these issues that we have discussed in this honorable house. We now move to
1
the
second,
other
member, House Leader, Madam Speaker, before you move, let me just highlight something to the member from St. Thomas Western. Just imagine you have a lot of animals died. Some of them died from heart attack and railway. And this one unscrupulous person have him caught with unalive from a heart attack or from whatever. And decides, so guess what? He now lose it so. And he just butcher it and carry it, go sell it. Down in a Kingston. You know the risk is posing to the people? We have to be very vigilant because they have unscrupulous people. And these are the ones that worsen the conditions that we face. That's all I would say.
Thank you very much, member. And now we have other items on the agenda, so we will move to discuss those
Madam
other
Speaker,
items
can you
on the
welcome the
agenda.
member?
On a
We have a
point of
new member
order,
that came up.
could we allow the member from South St. James to speak at the presentation before we move to other business?
Thank you very much, member. Member from South St. James, welcome to this honorable house.
Thank you very much. And I rise to bring you greetings from the residents of South St. James. I must say that they're in good spirit because most of the communities have been reached right now. And distribution efforts, I should say, is going on fine for now.
Thank you for that update, member. House leader, do we have any other business on the agenda?
And just to say before, Madam Speaker, the same water, the same way how you prepare your water to drink, you could use just the chlorination method to prepare your water to bathe, to wash your hands, to prepare your food.
I have two other questions, and I was just giving space for other persons to present questions. I have two other questions. One of the other question I have was just, how soon after these occurrences can the disease be expected to start to show themselves? How soon after the disaster and the whole episode? How soon after would the
what
disease?
What we talk about, member, is incubation period.
Yes, thank you.
Incubation period now. See, we have entered the realm of what you call an incubation period. So the incubation period, member, would be the time between one person being infected with an illness and then it starts to show symptoms. Different diseases have different incubation period. Now we are almost 2 weeks from the disaster, and we might be we're still hearing about animal corpse being involved in the water table, and we're still hearing about human cadavers being around. Anytime going forward next week, if we are not careful, 3 to 4 weeks, we might be finding ourselves in problem if we don't take a serious approach to deal with these matters.
Okay. Okay.
And a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Could the member elaborate some more where mosquitoes are concerned?
Well, mosquito is, as you would know, member, where mosquito basically situation is concerned is non-moving or stagnated water. And once we start having these eggs, because a lot of time some mosquitoes would have their eggs will be here in the dirt, in the dust, and all it requires is water to come on it now and start to hatch up and start to breed up. So if we don't get our fogging going in areas, especially in areas where we have endemic situation with certain mosquitoes, then we will be looking for trouble going down the road shortly. Because let us remember, you know, we have two types of mosquitoes. We have the nuisance mosquitoes, and we have the other ones that will cause you very serious problems, like your dengue fever and your other type of illnesses.
Like
the beautiful thing about it is that
virus and all these things.
right, the good thing is that some of the weird and fancy illnesses that would affect other places, we really don't have them in Jamaica, right? So we are protected, and the most we have to deal with just dengue cases. And it is something that I must tell you, over the years, we have been doing a very good job at containing the outbreak of dengue fever cases.
Madam Speaker, can I pose a question to the gentleman from